macronutrients and micronutrients, what we were never taught, from food pyramids to fueling our midlife bodies.
Hi there, my beautiful friends. Welcome to Hive. I'm Lorena, and this is our Tuesday talk. I almost skipped this week because I figure even major networks take off some time after about 8 to 10 weeks. But then I've had a couple of conversations over the past week and a half or so, and then it came up again this morning on an online forum, and I decided this topic is too big and too important to ignore. So what is the big question? As I'm talking about nutrition, I always bring up how I had such success when I was counting macros, and I'll go all into the whole everything with MyFitnessPal and whatnot, and I can see them glaze over. And then it's like, okay, but what's a macro? And I realized I have been speaking a language that some people are not familiar with. And so I'm going to go into the importance of macronutrients. And that was my sign that we needed this talk. So let's continue our series on nutrition.
We got played by what we were taught.
You know, for most of us, the only nutrition education we had growing up was learning about the food pyramid. And if you look back at the one from the 1970s, it's no surprise we were set up for confusion. It was created by the Department of Agriculture, and the base of the pyramid was stacked with grains. Of course, the USDA wanted us to eat more grains. That's what American farmers were producing. So we were told to load up on bread, rice, pasta, and cereal, and to fear fat. What was her name? Susan Powter. Fat makes you fat. And it was just, that's what we believed. Fats were pushed all the way to the very top of the pyramid like they were dangerous. The problem? That messaging worked its way into our heads. We vilified fats, we glorified grains, and the food industry flooded the shelves with low-fat everything, which usually meant higher sugar. And as fat intake dropped, heart disease actually became the #1 killer in the United States. To quote my neurologist from like 25 years ago, if it says fat-free, have your brain automatically think chemical shitstorm. Fast forward a few decades, and doctors like Andrew Well started saying, wait a second, fats aren't the enemy. The pyramid has since been flipped. Now, healthy fats like walnuts, olive oil, avocado oil, and avocados are recognized as powerful anti-inflammatory foods. But by then, the damage was done. We were already ingrained, pun intended, with the idea that fat makes you fat. No wonder we're confused when someone mentions macros and micros. We were never given the full owner's manual for our food.
So, what are macros?
So, let's break it down. Macro is short for macronutrient. These are the big 3 nutrients your body uses the most, and they provide your energy. Protein is 4 calories per gram. It builds muscle, supports hormones, and keeps you satisfied. Carbohydrates are also 4 calories per gram. They fuel your brain and body, but not all carbs are created equal. And fat are 9 calories per gram. They support your hormones, brain function, and energy storage. When you're counting macros, you're not just counting calories, you're looking at where your calories come from and how they affect your body.
What we now know we should have learned. Not all calories are created equal. Fast food calories equal crash and cravings. Balanced plate calories equal fuel and focus. 2,000 calories does not equal 2,000 calories.
Calories still matter, but not all calories are created equal. 2,000 calories of fast food won't work the same in your body as 2,000 calories of lean protein, veggies, and healthy fats. Counting macros helps you lose stubborn fat, maintain lean muscle, keep your body satisfied, and fuel your workouts and your brain. This is especially important during menopause, perimenopause, menopause, and postmenopause as our bodies are changing. And that's why athletes and increasingly women in midlife use macro tracking. It's flexible and you can still enjoy all of your favorite foods as long as they fit your macros.
Micronutrients are your spark plugs. Small nutrients makes a big impact on immunity, metabolism, bone health, hormones, and energy.
Micronutrients, with an I, micronutrients are the smaller players, but they're essential. Micros are your vitamins and minerals. The most important vitamins A, C, D, E, and B complex, and minerals like calcium, magnesium, potassium, and iron. They regulate metabolism, protect against chronic disease, support immunity, and keep your bones, brain, and hormones healthy. You don't need to count them gram by gram like you do with your macros, but you do need to make sure your diet is colorful and varied because deficiencies can add up fast.
Balance is power. Menopause needs both macros and micros. Both matter.
So sticking with we treat our cars better than we do our bodies, but our bodies actually need just as much, if not more, maintenance. Here's the thing. Macros are your body's fuel. Micros are your body's spark plugs. You need both for balance, especially during menopause when hormones are shifting and nutrients need change. If you've ever felt like nutrition was a mystery, you're not alone. It's not about perfection. It's about understanding enough to make choices that work for you. So drop a comment or DM me. Have you ever tracked macros? Do you know which ones you're getting too much of or not enough? Let's talk about it because knowledge is power. Now that you know what macros and micros are and you're not like, Lorena, are you using actual words? I have a challenge for you. One day this week, log your food for just one day. Not to judge yourself, but to learn where your protein, carbs, and fat are coming from and whether you're getting colorful macronutrient-rich foods. Next week, I'll step you through how to plan your week ahead so you're close to your numbers every day. Because if we log our food after we eat it, then at the end of the day, we're left with like, oh my gosh, I'm over 20 grams on my fat and I'm under 40 grams on my protein, and it's too late to do anything about it. But if we pre-plan in MyFitnessPal the day or week ahead, then you'll know day by day that if you stick to that eating plan, you'll hit all of your numbers. And in a couple of months, you won't even need to track because your brain's going to start to visually recognize, oh, that's enough protein. This is the correct amount of carbs. This is the correct amount of fat. And it's like our car when we know it's ready for an oil change. We know that that's going to be what we need to tune up ourselves. So now, true confession. I've fallen off the track myself, so I'm taking this week and next to regroup and replan, and I don't want to do it alone. That's why we're going to start fresh together with the BeFit Reset on Monday, September 29th. Mark your calendar. I'll remind you again through the week, and then we'll talk about it again next Tuesday. But this coming week, I invite you to get your tools ready. Things like a food scale and a biometric scale. Those things can be purchased on Amazon. If you'll give me a little bit of time, I'll put the ones that I use and I love, down in the comments below. But that's going to be extremely helpful over the next few months with your food. And then the biometric scale I've mentioned in a couple of talks in the past. Not only does it give you your weight, but where is that weight coming from? It will tell you what your hydration is, what your bones weigh, so you'll have a good idea of your bone density, what your muscles weigh, what your biological age is. There's just so much good information on there. So I will see if I can put that list together for you, because not everybody has access to a DEXA scan or a bod pod, and those biometric scales are the next best thing, and the brand I use has consistently ranked top of the list. So I'll share that information with you, and then when we start on the 29th, we'll all be on day one together. Because here's the truth: once you understand the formula, it's simple. But it's not always easy. That's why we'll do it together inside the private HIVE group. That way it's not here on this public forum, but then we can share numbers and insights and advice for each other, recipes that have worked with each other, how to sneak in additional hydration if you're not quite hitting your mark on that. So we'll do that over there in the private HIVE group again over the next couple of weeks, and before the 29th, I'll make sure I have everything in place for you to follow that. Because you're going to be beta testing this with me. I've done macros and have had tremendous success with it, but then, brownies and chocolate chip cookies and things like that have gotten in the way. So just along with everyone else, I want to start over again so that I can make sure I'm ending up 2025 more healthy and stronger and fitting into last year's winter clothes, and welcoming 2026 with a whole new vision of health, especially as I'm going through my menopausal changes. So your body is this vehicle in this life. So if you give it the right fuel, it will carry you strong for many years to come. So ask yourself, where are you now? Are you where you want to be? Why do you want to get fit, and why would it help you if you met a mini goal between now and the end of the year? And where could you be by the beginning of 2026 if we start this together on the 29th? So let's talk about restarting, replanning, and starting day one on the 29th of this month. So that's all I have for this week. As usual, never forget, you are strong, you are vibrant, you are charming, and you are loved. I'll see you next Tuesday.
Woke up this morning feeling away. A little voice inside saying it's not too late. Gotta chase those dreams, let go of the past. Time to break those chains, I'm free at last. I'm climbing out, gonna rise and shine. Taking each step one day at a time. With hope in my heart, fire in my eyes. I'm on my way to a better life. Used to be afraid of every fall, but now I see they're lessons after all. Gonna stand up tall and face my fears. Embrace the change, Now I see their lessons after all. Gonna stand up tall and face my